Dear colleagues, Ministry of Defense spokesperson Mr. Vilyen Podgornyy will speak on Russian military aggression in eastern Ukraine. Mr. Pidgornyy, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a weekly update on the events of the Russia-Ukraine military conflict in eastern Ukraine and Crimea that took place between October 3rd and 9th. Over the week, Ukrainian armed forces actively worked on fulfilling the framework decision of the Trilateral Contact Group related to disengagement of forces and military hardware. The decision serves as a pilot project to ensure a complete and sustainable ceasefire to safeguard the lives of Ukrainian civil population and the military. The agreed three sites for disengagement are Zolote and Stanitsa Luhanska in the Luhansk sector and the village of Petrivske in the Mariupol sector. As of today, disengagement has taken place in Zolote and Petrivske. However, Russia-backed militants still did not demine the area near Zolote, which obstructs the work of the OSCE monitors as well as prevents from opening a new checkpoint for the civilians. In addition to the OSCE special monitoring mission, it used their drones in Zolote and Petrivske to monitor the situation and observe the implementation of the decision. The disengagement of forces in the area of Stanitsa Luhanska that was scheduled for October 9th did not start due to regular ceasefire violations committed by Russia-backed militants. 5 hostile attacks were observed in the area throughout the week. The last attack occurred on October 6th. Ukrainian armed forces strictly observe Minsk agreements and are ready to disengage under conditions of reciprocity and if complete and sustainable ceasefire takes place. Nevertheless, Russia-backed militants opened fire from small arms, mortars, and artillery in other flashpoints in all 3 sectors. The number of ceasefire violations registered last week varied between 22 episodes yesterday, October 9th, at its lowest point, up to 68 episodes on October 4th at its highest. The militants fired from heavy weapons, mortars, artillery, and tanks against Ukrainian positions. The vast majority of ceasefire violations took place in the following areas. Novozvanivka and Novoalexandrivka were the 2 major hotspots in the Luhansk sector, where Russia-backed militants used heavy weapons, including 82mm and 120mm mortars, as well as 120mm and 152mm artillery. Overall, there were no spots in the Luhansk sector where sustainable ceasefire was upheld. Avdiivka remains the major flashpoint of the conflict in the Donetsk area. This was the site of the most devastating artillery fire last week. The militants' artillery battery has been firing at Ukrainian troops for an hour on October 6th, lobbing 67 shells into Ukrainian military positions. Military actions were observed along the northwestern side of Horlivka perimeter. There were also isolated hostile attacks in the Svitlodarsk area and the Donetsk airport, in which Russia-backed militants used small arms. Mortar fire against Ukrainian positions was registered near the village of Pisky on October 5th. Mariupol sector has the most extensive geography and the largest number of ceasefire violations. Marinka and Shirokine village were the 2 hot spots. Militants used both mortars and artillery near Shirokine with a total number of outgoing shells exceeding 150. There, Ukrainian forces came under heavy fire of heavy weapons and armored infantry vehicles. Other areas of conflict include Krasnogorivka, Starognativka, Vodyane, Pavlopil, and Gnutove. Furthermore, Russia-backed militants continue to use reconnaissance drones to identify Ukrainian positions on a daily basis. Last week, 2 Ukrainian servicemen were killed. 3 were wounded as a result of booby traps explosions. 11 soldiers were wounded in action, and 3 more Ukrainian servicemen suffered concussions due to hostile attacks. Our hearts go out to the families and friends of the fallen Ukrainian heroes. Thank you. This concludes our briefing.
Thank you, Mr. Pidgornyy. At this point, the press conference is finished. Looking forward to seeing you here next Monday.
Thank you. See you next Monday.